Last night, 7-1, going for the sweep today against the Mets. That game was going to be an early one at 110. Padres currently favored minus 120 on the money line. Clay Holmes going for New York, while Yu Darvish will be going for the Padres. And breaking news from Jeff Passan: Brian Hayes, star third baseman from the Pirates, will be headed to the Reds. Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscriptions ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio, get an extra 5% off.
Oh, it is half over indeed. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. We got a lot going on, so let's get right into it. Trade deadline coming up tomorrow. Trades happening in Major League Baseball as we speak. Pictures of AJ Preller and Mike Shildt chatting on the infield from this morning are going viral. Things are happening, and what's going to happen over the next, 26 hours are the important ones here in San Diego, because we're going to see what the future of this Padres team for the rest of this season for the playoff push are going to look like. And right now in the National League, everything is kind of coming up Padres. I'll explain why in just a minute. We got a ticket giveaway, and it's a good one. Ticket giveaway today, and it's a good one. A pair of tickets to go see Blues Traveler, Gin Blossoms with special guest Spin Doctors at Gallagher Square at Petco Park, Saturday, August 16th. Sammy and I got to break down a bunch of NFL in hour 2 once the Padres game gets going. And Big Rich was just on the herd. How about that? Did you hear any of that, Sammy? That was kind of cool.
Yeah, he sounded good. I was listening to it, kind of getting ready for the show, kind of casually, and then I heard Perkins say a show called Big Rich, City and Fletch, and I was like, oh wow.
It's so weird. I asked Ornberger earlier today if he wanted to come on our show, and he was like, no, I'm busy. And
we got big timed. We got big time by Rich.
The
Big Rich show.
It's okay. He'll come back to us one day, and we'll be happy for that. Sammy and I, the countdown is officially on. We're almost in August. Vegas is coming up in just a few weeks here. I don't know if I'm mentally or physically or any of that prepared for Las Vegas with a 23-year-old, but we're going to do our best. It means I feel like I got to get ready. Are we going to be going out and clubbing or something? I don't know.
We're definitely going out.
I'm not going clubbing. That's
if you think that we're going to be sitting in the hotel room while everyone else is having fun, you're crazy.
What if I want to watch some Office reruns?
You can do that any other day.
We got a lot going on today. All right, I mentioned how the National League is actually setting up pretty nicely for the Padres right now. Part of that reason is that the Dodgers are winning, and the Dodgers are winning against competition for the Padres in the wild card. Another part of that is the fact that the Padres are winning. Last night's game, the offense is here, man. It's hitting is contagious. There's no better example of that than the Padres, who struggled to score more than like a couple of runs for months, it felt like. Over the last 3 games, went 9 runs, 7 runs, 7 runs. Pretty damn good. They're on a 4-game win streak right now. The last 2 against a very, very good Mets team. And the Padres were doing it by way of overpowering, which how often does that actually happen? But Jackson Merrill yesterday with that bizarre, kind of laughable triple that he hit, where the ball, he kind of hit it directly into the ground, and then it bounces over first base, goes all the way into the corner. Luis Ariz huffing and puffing his way from first to home. Manny Machado with yet another 20 home run season under his belt. He joins another short list of players who have accomplished such a feat on his way to a potential Hall of Fame career. Congratulations to Manny Machado. And the aura with the behind the back bat flip. How nice was that?
That was fire. I gotta give the MVP of the game though to Jeremiah Estrada. That game was about to get broken open in there in the 5th inning when there was bases loaded, and he came in, absolutely shut it down. And it felt like the Mets, that's what the Padres have been doing the last, 3-4 games on this 4-game win streak, is they've been the ones kind of slapping the ball around, getting on base, putting pressure on the base pass. The Mets can do that. We know the big lineup they have with Alonso. I know Soto got hurt last night. But
yeah, he's officially out of the lineup today.
Yeah, that's obviously a big loss. It sucks. You never want to see that. But, yeah, I mean, Padres are capitalizing. They're putting pressure on these teams, and it is true. I mean, what Mike Shildt said about the 4 horsemen of the bullpen of Estrada and Morejon and Adam and Suarez, that is a nasty pen. I do think you could add a little depth to it, because I think that some of those arms have been burned out, mainly Jason Adam. The way that he's using him is insane to me. But Estrada really coming in. If you like, I thought it was a mistake not bringing Estrada in on the first night when Dylan Cease gave up the grand slam, but the Padres were able to pull it out. A massive win for the Pods. And again, I can't wait for today, because today we're going to see Yu Darvish. And there's been a lot. He's come back from injury. Everyone was waiting for him to come back from injury. Coach Quintero was on our show last week talking about how I don't know if his stuff's there. It looks like his velocity is down. Does he need to be shut down? He said, I'd give him one more start. Well, this is the next start right before the trade deadline. So we're going to see if Yu Darvish, if it was kind of a fluke, if he was just getting back into it a little bit, or if he really doesn't have it. He's injured. So this is a big start today, not only for trying to get a win and complete a sweep over a really good team, but to see how the pitching staff's going to look going forward.
Yu Darvish with a 9.18 ERA and a record of 0-3 on the year, facing off with Clay Holmes, who has a 3.4 ERA. He transitioned from bullpen to starting rotation this year, has already doubled his season high in terms of innings pitched, which makes sense. He's 9-5 on the year with a 3.40 ERA, so it should be a good one today. The finale for Padres, Mets. Padres looking for the sweep. Going into the trade deadline, sweeping a very good national team. Our National League team, that would be a good way to kind of send yourself into the trade deadline. All right, Sammy, let's get to the big three here. We have sound from 2 Major League Baseball insiders that we're going to play for you coming up in 10 minutes. So don't go anywhere. But right now it's time for the top stories of the day. Sammy Long, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
If you want to watch the show, we got a couple of ways for you to do it on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. That one stays live from 12 to 6 every single day. John and Jim take it over right after we get off. And then on X, at Fletch and Sammy, at Fletch and Sammy on X. You can find us there as well. Sammy, where are we starting the show with?
So, do you smell that? What is that?
Football?
Is that Hall of Fame game 24 hours away?
Wow. It's getting close.
Oh, my Lord.
You got some betting lines on the Hall of Fame game you want to give us?
CJ already said yesterday, our imaging guy, that he's going to come slap me if I bet on it. But we got big day tomorrow. We got MLB trade deadline. We got NFL Hall of Fame game back. Let's start with the NFL, though. Trey Hendrickson reports to camp, still does not have a deal, but is showing up in, quote, good faith. What is your thought to Trey Hendrickson kind of giving in to the Bengals a little bit, and why you would report to camp after holding out of camp and then still not having a deal?
I'm going to make sure that the number I'm about to say is correct. So give me 1 second here. But Trey Hendrickson, I believe, is just trying to save himself some money. But let me double check, because the number I saw yesterday was insane.
Are you talking about $50,000 per day?
That was the number I saw. Is that accurate?
Yes, he was losing $50,000 per day by not reporting to camp.
Okay, so Trey Hendrickson is maybe reporting and doing one of those hold-in situations where we're seeing it from guys like James Cook, who James Cook is actually going through some of the practice stuff, so he's not fined all the money that he could be fined. But then you have other situations like a Micah Parsons, who isn't practicing, but he's there, and he's doing it to make sure he's not fined every single day. I think Trey Hendrickson wanted to be real strong, but then when Trey and Trey's family saw, hey, we are missing out on some serious cash here. We are having to pay some serious cash here. Like, I don't know, a new car every single day. I would also get my butt to training camp.
This is just such an odd situation for me because
the Bengals figured out the rookie, right? They're signed him.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart got signed. The first-round rookie at A&M. Only had 4.5 sacks in his career, but
ton of guaranteed money. Like the majority of his contract is fully guaranteed.
And what's odd is he was drafted. He completely rose in the draft prospect. They thought he was like a late first-round pick, and he kind of bumped up draft boards because he was really good at the combine, but never really put it together. A&M, but A&M had a big recruiting class that kind of fell flat. So this defense was garbage last week. We've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. I mean, they were horrible. And I think what we're going to see this year is the offense going to be one of the best in the NFL. They just cut Zach Moss today, but any offense with Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase is going to score a damn near a lot of points. But Trey Hendrickson, I mean, from his perspective, I get it. You're showing up, but you come back to camp. Does that mean you're going to play week 1 if there's no deal? I mean, you're already dealing with an organization that has no idea what they're doing historically, and historically is known as a franchise that does not pay its players, which is not a great thing to be known for when you're trying to attract free agents. And I'm sorry to anyone from Ohio or Cincinnati. This is not Miami, Los Angeles, or New York. Okay, you already have trouble getting people to go there anyways. And the fact that you're known for not paying your guys is kind of beyond me. Trey Hendrickson, they got to get this deal done. And if you're the Bengals, if you were going to not pay him, why wouldn't you have traded the NFL's leading sack leader before the draft to get competition and then pick into the entire defense in the draft? It feels like if the Bengals are in a win now situation, but they're not going to win now, probably even if he's there, but certainly if he's not there, feels like a heavy misstep. Okay, the Titans. So number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward, gave an odd quote to the media today. He said during the training camp, his practice, the offense has been, quote, very mid right now. So for those of you who don't know what mid is, that's basically what people say when it's like, whatever. It's not very good. It's kind of passable. Is that what you want to hear from the number 1 overall pick who's leading the offense?
I mean, if he's speaking the truth, fine. It's more power to you, Cam Ward, if you want to say it. And I'm sure a lot of quarterbacks around the league feel that way right now. It's training camp. This is the time it's supposed to look mid. But if you are the first overall draft pick to an organization where the future kind of rests on your shoulders, and no one is looking at the Titans this year to be a postseason team or anything close to it, but you are looking to the future with Cam Ward as your quarterback to be a positive one, right now is not the time, dude. Right now needs to be, man, I'm soaking it all in. My first NFL training camp. How cool is this ass? This is awesome. We're working on things every day. We're getting better every day. Can't wait to see where this goes. It should be positive, forward momentum, because now you are the spokesperson for a multi-billion-dollar organization. Rough look for Cam Ward. By the way, Titans having themselves a rough day. You remember in the A.J. Brown trade, Treylon Brooks came over because they thought he was going to be the future. He was going to be a superstar. They just cut him, waived him, gone, off the team. Titans are in a weird spot right now, man. They better hope Cam Ward is something special.
I actually am going to go opposite you. I actually love this from Cam Ward. This is an organization that needs direction. And the Tennessee Titans, yeah, they were good there for a little bit with Derrick Henry, and Tannehill was all right when he resurrected his career after getting drafted in Miami and not really working out there. But you're talking about an organization that kind of like the Bengals that got a lottery ticket dropped in their lap in drafting Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. You need some command. You just fired Mike Vrabel, which didn't make sense to me. That was a guy who was probably one of the most hard-nosed coaches in the league. That I don't care if the Titans were garbage. Anytime your team plays them, it was always a hell of a game. They always had some crazy design for you. I like that Cam Ward's coming in here, especially speculation with a lot of people being like, is he really worth the number 1 overall pick? Was he overdrafted? Was he drafted just because he was a quarterback? He put up big numbers at Miami, but they played at a conference that wasn't a great conference. I actually like this from him, and I like the quote. Okay, quickly, let's head to the NBA real quick. Jonathan Kuminga. So this has kind of been a storyline playing out past free agency. He's a restricted free agent, the best free agent left on the market. The Warriors offered him a 2-year, $40 million contract. He said no. They upped it to a 2-year, $45 million contract with a no-trade clause. He said no. Apparently, per ESPN, they've discussed 4-year, $90 million sign-in trades with the Kings and Suns. Where would you like to see Jonathan Kuminga end up? And do you think the Warriors are having a massive blunder not signing him?
It feels like the bridge has been burned with the Warriors. I think he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be around Steve Kerr. The Warriors obviously aren't going to move on from Steve Kerr. It's going to be Steve Kerr's decision to move on from them. This is just a mess with Kuminga, who I believe is super talented, who when he's on the court, special things happen. He's crazy athletic. He seems like a high IQ basketball player. But the fact that he wasn't meshing once Jimmy Butler came over and trade, Steve Kerr put him on the bench, which, look, Steve Kerr's won how many championships over the last 10 years? 4 of them?
4, yep.
So Steve Kerr has every right to do that too, but it feels like the bridge is burned, and sometimes things just don't work out. I would love to see Kuminga on a competitive team. I want to see him in the postseason. I think he's one of the more special athletes in the NBA right now. It would be cool to see him get moved to a Spurs, to somebody that's going to be in contention next year.
Yeah, Kuminga, this feels like a real misstep from Steve Kerr. And again, everything you said, Steve Kerr's a Hall of Fame coach.
It didn't work. It wasn't meshing.
It hasn't worked, but it feels like a lot the Lakers before Luka. It's like LeBron's trying to have you win now, and the Warriors aren't in position to win now. We didn't get to really see what that team could do because Steph Curry got hurt in the first game against Memphis, and it was kind of wraps after that just because or not Memphis, but what am I saying? Minnesota. And it felt like, they obviously didn't have the roster. You lose Steph Curry, that's gonna change everything for you. But Jonathan Kuminga stepped up when Curry went out, was averaging about 20 points per game in that playoff series, had a game where he had like 27 to 30 points. Kuminga's going to go be a star somewhere. He's probably going to go to a bad team because they're the only ones that can afford the sign-in trade, i.e. a Suns or a Kings. But for a team that needs young talent and is getting a way older in the Golden State Warriors, I don't know why you're letting a Jonathan Kuminga walk, who could be a really talented young player that you could build around after Curry goes by. Or
sometimes guys have to bounce around a little bit before they find the right fit. Didn't that happen with Wiggins early on in his career?
Yeah, totally.
And then he lands with the Warriors because
fantastic.
Who was the other? Nick Young, Swaggy P? What was that guy's name?
Swaggy P.
He bounced around forever, ends up with the Warriors, wins a championship, and is a key part of the team. So sometimes it just takes guys to bounce around a little bit. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, 2 baseball insiders. Was Swaggy P? He was a Laker. Did I get that wrong?
No, it was in the dark days with Robert Sacre and Jeremy Lin and Carlos Boozer.
Dude, Swaggy P was crazy. That dude.
D'Angelo Russell and Iggy Azalea. Remember that whole thing?
That dude was crazy. Coming up next, 2 baseball insiders have weighed in on what the Padres are going to do over the next 24 hours. We got audio from both of them. We'll play it coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, so Circa Survivor and Circa Million. This is what I'm playing all NFL season. I play fantasy football. I play all the stuff. I bet individual games, but this is what you got to do. This keeps you in the running instead of dropping a couple hundred on one game and maybe you lose. You're out of your money. Circa Survivor, Circa Million keeps you playing all season long. Circa Million. You pick 5 games against the spread each week. Don't have to worry about the straight up or the point totals. 5 games against the spread each week. So looking at week 1, maybe you like Washington -6.5 at home versus the Giants. Maybe you think the Chiefs continue their AFC West dominance over the Chargers, favored by 2.5 in Brazil. Aaron Rodgers playing his old team with his new team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, favored by 3 in New York. Maybe you want some action on the night game. Bills favored by 1.5 at home against the Ravens. Does Lamar get some revenge? Does Mark Andrews catch that pass this time? All you got to do is pick 5 games each week against the spread. Instead of doing side bets with your boys where they may stiff you on payment, play Circa Million, win up to millions of dollars in prizes. But listen, we also get if you're busy and don't have time to pick 5 games against the spread each week, this is where Circa Survivor comes into play. All you need to do is pick 1 game each week. Once you burn a team, you can't pick them again. It's $1,000 buy-in. You get 10 friends for $100 each, or you can just go all in yourself with the grand. The fun thing about doing it with the friend group is that one person gets to make the pick, and at the end of the day, if they're wrong and they sell everyone, you get to make fun of them for the rest of the season. Sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere. Gives you an excuse to plan a summer Vegas trip and provide season-long fun all throughout the NFL season. The best part about it is while you're signing up, you get to relax in the Circa Sportsbook with wall-to-wall TVs outside the pool with a cocktail in your hand, showing off that summer body you've been working on for the last few months. Win your money now with Circa.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances from Ed Sheeran, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, Tim McGraw, and more. September 19th and 20th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Buy tickets now at AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out. And while the world is listening on iHeartRadio, you could be there starting next Monday at 6 a.m. We got chances every single weekday for you to win your trip for 2 plus $1,000 spending cash. So stay tuned for that. All right, Dylan Cease has spoken. He is in the Padres clubhouse right now for pregame. There is video online of this, but he was asked about a lot of things. He was asked about his head, and he said he was feeling fine, wasn't too bad. As soon as they realized he didn't have any concussion symptoms, he felt like he was fine, and it didn't really affect his pitching. He also was asked about the trade rumors, and he said, quote, "It's just part of the game. I really don't spend too much time worrying about it." And that was a few questions. He had a very similar answer for all of them. It was the very PR answer. So Dylan Cease, could he be moved over the next couple of days? I think the chances are good that he is. Kevin Acee wrote in his article this morning, his Padres Daily, essentially the way for the Padres to add a bat and to keep spending the same amount this year is for them to move off of Dylan Cease. That would be the easiest way for them to do so. Maybe that's coming over the next couple of days. We will see. Sammy, we got some sound from 2 different Major League Baseball insiders.
Jim Bowden has some good stuff on Dylan Cease. I'll play it right here.
Former general manager.
The Dylan Cease thing, I think will probably happen. Now, it's funny because once Ken Rosenthal and Chandler Rome put that report out there, of course, I followed up their reporting, which they did a great job. And a lot of people were asking, well, why would the Astros want Dylan Cease and be a top target when he's 3-10 with a 4.7 ERA? Great question. All you have to do is look back 12 months ago. What happened at the deadline? Yusei Kikuchi at the deadline last year was 4.9 with a 4.7 ERA. Dylan Cease right now, 3-10 with a 4.7 ERA. And what happened? Dana Brown said his data room, I like to call it the analytic group, but he calls it the data room. So we'll call it the data room for the Astros. So his data room and pitching room told him the solution they thought they had for Kikuchi. Kikuchi came over and dominated, went 5-1, one of the best ERAs in the league after they got him in August and September. They believe they can do the same thing with Dylan Cease. And the underlying numbers, the strikeouts per 9, I mean, some of these numbers say, yeah, it might be the case. And so that's why they're in on him. They have a plan that if they get Cease, they think they can get him back. And if they make the playoffs, Hunter Brown game 1, Framber Valdez game 2, Dylan Cease game 3. That'd be pretty good if Cease becomes the guy he was last year when he won 14 games.
So the argument is, why wouldn't the Padres just keep him if they think that that's the future, right? We'll see what happens with Dylan Cease this year. Clearly, Bowden thinks that the Astros are going to be in on him, thinking that they could kind of turn him around before the time the season ends.
That's also interesting, too, because to that point, they see him as a high-value starter. If they see him going at number 3 in the playoffs, these teams, there's been a lot of reporting that they think these teams are like way higher on Dylan Cease, maybe than, the San Diego fan base is, or even the Padres are from seeing him up close every night. But I mean, he is a guy that has elite level stuff that if you feel like your pitching coaches and staff could really work with, I mean, that would be a nasty get at the deadline.
All right. We have some sound from John Paul Morosi too. We'll get in just a second here, but this is from Kevin Acee's Padres Daily today, where he's essentially talking about the offense and how it's been heating up over the last few games. And this is where I'll start reading from Kevin. He says, none of that means the Padres no longer need to add a legitimate hitter to lengthen their lineup, plus a pitching piece or two. They do. And as has been the case all along, they continue to seek an impact bat via what will likely be more than one move, because to get a player that truly has a chance to make them better, the word is that they need to clear some salary space. The most obvious way to do that is to unload starting pitcher Dylan Cease, who was owed about $4.5 million over the final 2 months of the season. So Kevin is saying in his article today a lot what we've been saying over the last few weeks, which the most likely outcome for this trade deadline is you move Dylan Cease, you get prospects back, you then flip those prospects to get a hitter or two or an arm or two. All right, let's hear what JP Morosi had to say, MLB Network insider.
The computer is loading, Fletch.
Maybe, maybe not. We'll get that JP Morosi sound a little later in the show. But it's good stuff, and it's more like you never know what AJ Preller is going to do at the trade deadline. Most likely, I think we talked with Kevin about this yesterday. AJ Preller is going to do something. I think we can all feel pretty comfortable in that. I would say it's a 90% plus chance that AJ Preller is going to do something between the next 2 days. It's probably going to be for a name that we haven't heard yet. that's the most likely situation for AJ Preller. We got JP.
There are a couple different options here. Yes, Robert Suarez, they would consider moving him. Dylan Cease as well. And last night I reported that I'd been hearing in the industry that the Padres, if they were to move Suarez or Cease, it would be for the goal of adding either a catcher or a left fielder for right now. Now, the Padres at the moment, Lauren, they don't have an abundance of payroll flexibility. So that means if they want to add something, they've got to move some money out. And Cease has a fairly significant salary, as does Robert Suarez, who you see here. Suarez, by the way, all-star reliever, one of the best in the game. They do have Jason Adam as well, so they have some flexibility to potentially move someone like a Robert Suarez. Now, last night, I mentioned a few different names that we had seen the Padres linked to, and I believe they are looking for an everyday left fielder. Ramon Laureano is a possibility with Baltimore. Luis Robert Jr., whose form has gotten better. He's playing better since the All-Star break. And then Stephen Kwan. There are a number of different possibilities that the Padres are looking for. And I do think that with Laureano being someone that's under control for next year, Robert has some options too. And Kwan as well. These are all guys who could play left field for them next year. And that is.
There you go. There's some names given out by John Paul Morosi. Are the Padres going to do any of those? We'll see.
I can't believe the Guardians are getting rid of Quan.
I know. Doesn't make a whole lot of
any
sense
to me. Like, I get it. Like, Class A just got put in the gambling probe, so you already have one of the best closers off the market. Sounds like Duran, who's one of the best closers in the game. Bob Nightingale's reporting might be going to the Dodgers, which is a big get for them. And yeah, I mean, this is the way AJ Preller working his magic. It obviously feels like they don't want to touch the prospect pool, and there's not a ton there unless you're going to go with a DeVries or a Salas, which doesn't seem like all that smart of a possibility. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. I really think the Yu Darvish thing today, how he performs, will have a big impact on whether they want to trade Dylan Cease. Because if he goes out there today and is terrible, can you really, with a straight face, trade Dylan Cease to get a position play?
Knowing what other teams think about Dylan Cease. Like, if you're going to be missing out on a potential, I don't know, Game 7 starter. Like, it's things you got to think about. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, some of the latest updates around the NL West, because Sammy just mentioned one of them, but the Dodgers, who names we haven't really heard over the last couple of weeks talking about the trade deadline, their name is everywhere right now. So we'll tell you what the Dodgers are doing coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Rapid Radio's Padres back today looking for the sweep over the Mets. That game will go in at 110. Yu Darvish should be on the mound while Clay Holmes will be going for the Mets. Brian Hayes has been traded from the Pittsburgh Pirates to the Cincinnati Reds to play third base. And Jonathan Kuminga is still declining the Warriors' terms after they upped the offer to a 2-year, $45 million deal. There are rumors the Kings and Suns are interested in a 4-year, $90 million sign in trade. Rapid Radio is your instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscriptions ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get extra 5% off.
It's always a couple of crazy days here in San Diego when the trade deadline is approaching because the general manager in this town for Major League Baseball can get a little crazy sometimes. And that's what we love about AJ Preller. So let's see what he can do this year. It should be a fun one no matter what happens over the next few hours or next couple of days. Padres do play today at 110. Yu Darvish on the mound. I think it's a big start for Yu Darvish, who hasn't looked good, frankly, since he's gotten back from injury. We'll see if he can bring back a little bit of that Yu Darvish magic today. Maybe it just takes some time to get him settled in. I don't know. Sammy, you putting him in your long shots today?
No, because I'm not going to root against him. But if we are putting him in long shots, I don't trust what I've seen from Yu Darvish.
Me neither.
And him and Nick Pivetta were not kind to long shots last week.
All right. You were telling me during the break here, a couple of news pieces coming out about the Dodgers and some trades that they could be interested on. What's going on there?
So they're interested. The Dodgers need bullpen help. That's kind of been the big bugaboo up there in LA is the fact that like the hitters, Mookie and Freddie have been hitting the ball better recently, but Tanner Scott, former Padre, has not been everything that the Dodgers thought he was going to be. So they really need, and he's been hurt right now. So they're in on Duran, who is Johan Duran, who basically becomes the best reliever on the market after Emmanuel Clase got put in the gambling probe. There's a lot of closers they're in on. It feels like everyone's kind of waiting on the Padres. Like everyone's waiting on the Diamondbacks, see where Eugenio Suarez is going to go. He just doubled probably his last at bat as an Arizona Diamondback. That's basically been confirmed. But it's odd because so if we're looking at the standings, like the Giants, who I sent you a tweet, are 2-11 since acquiring Rafael Devers, or the last 13 games.
858 says, can we all have a collective laugh at the fact that Jim Bowden, he claimed the Giants already won the trade deadline. Since the Giants made that trade, they have the worst record in Major League Baseball.
Well, that's what's so odd, because like they're
free falling.
They felt like a very, like comparing them to the Padres in 7-0-4-7-0, starting to mesh with a team. Any thoughts you got on the Padres, traded line, anything, let us know. It felt like the Giants were maybe like, they're just a solid team. They still have really good pitching. They have all the stuff. Then you add Devers, you think, okay, we're going to have the big bat that kind of comes through, and they have not been successful. The Padres feel like the other way. The Padres feel like they have holes, but they have the star power that a lot of teams just simply don't have, that are probably fighting for a wild card spot. The Dodgers have helped the Padres out the last couple nights by beating the Reds. But yeah, it just feels like with the trade deadline, the Diamondbacks are selling everybody. Where Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen could be good options. They're not going to trade him to the Padres because they won't want to see him for the next few years. The Giants obviously are not going to help the Padres and vice versa. It feels like kind of an arms race between the Dodgers and the Padres, but then everyone's waiting on the Padres. Like, are you going to trade Dylan Cease? You need to trade Dylan Cease to get stuff back. It's something that goes into that. So are we going to expect that if the Padres are going to be buyers tomorrow, that the Dylan Cease deal needs to come down tonight or needs to come down early in the morning? Because you got to think that you got to flip him, get the prospects, and then trade him again.
Or you have move A, B, and C already ready to go, right? You have
it's all figured
contingent on Dylan Cease going there with these prospects coming here. Are we okay to go after this left fielder or this catcher, and we can make that flip happen immediately? That's what the trade deadline always comes down. We'll find out right before the actual trade deadline what the move is or some names associated to it. And then 2 or 3 hours later, we find out what all went into the trade. Like today and tomorrow are going to get kind of nutso. And yeah, Jim Russell had the tweet out yesterday. It was the perfect tweet. We are officially on hug watch across Major League Baseball. There's tons of games in action right now. I'm sure people in those markets are going to be keeping an eye on the dugout, making sure there's no hugs going around, especially like in Arizona with Suarez. You said he just doubled, Sammy?
Yeah, he doubled. And
so if he's
all but gone.
Comes back to the dugout and then starts hugging people, all right, well, it's time for Suarez. We're going to find out soon. Today with Dylan Cease, Padre fans are going to be keeping an eye on the dugout because what if something comes down during the game? What if something happens in the middle of everything?
Look at you looking at body language.
You got to be looking at body language over the next couple of days. You got to be an expert.
I mean, looking right here, the Padres are last wild card spot. Cubs are 3.5 games up. They're up on the Brewers
How about
right now.
the Brewers who just overtook the Cubbies?
Yeah, 2 games up now.
I kind of thought that division
right now,
was
so
done 2 weeks ago.
Philly's up 2.5. Cincy back 3 games, 4.5. So for the Cardinals, so the Padres got some breathing room right here. What team of all that makes you the most nervous?
I don't know if 3 games is breathing room. It's you know, in like movies when you see a guy on a sinking ship and he's just barely putting his mouth up to the last little bit of oxygen.
His last gasp.
That's what the Padres are doing right now.
Who makes you the most nervous of all those teams?
Well, the Reds are making moves, right? The Reds just brought in
Brian Hayes.
Yeah, Brian Hayes, who hasn't had a great year. He's hitting 236 with a couple of home runs and 369 at bats.
They cannot score runs. That's the Reds' problem.
Right. And you brought in another guy who's a really talented defender, but isn't crazy on the offensive side. Cardinals are always good because of the pedigree. Now, the Cardinals are not the same as the ones that even Mike Schilt was coaching a few years ago, where you just felt like they were a lock for the postseason. And I think it cannot be overshadowed how important those 2 games that the Padres actually won against the Cardinals were, because that has given you that breathing room that we're talking about. So 3 games is great, man. But if teams that scare you, it would have to be the Reds. It has to be the fact that the Cubs and the Brewers are both as good as they are. And then the Cardinals from behind you with the pedigree. It feels like the Giants have fallen off a cliff. We'll see if they do anything over the next couple of days. The only thing the Giants shows that
now the Padres have a good record this year. They're 4-2 against them, which is big, but they play them 7 more times.
Right.
So these are games that can be made up. It's kind of odd if you're looking at the division right now. Like the Dodgers playing the Reds right now. I don't know what the Padres are looking for. Like if you're looking for the division, you obviously want the Dodgers to lose, but is the division really in play? I don't know that is, considering right now the Padres went 2-5 against the Dodgers. Or are you rooting for the Dodgers to finish them off tonight?
I was thinking about that last night, and because I was keeping track of what the Dodgers score was at, and I was like, I think you do want the Dodgers to win here, because who knows what's going to happen with the games that the Padres are playing against the Dodgers. But if the Dodgers are knocking off your lesser competition, I think you're okay with it, because you just want to get into the postseason.
Right. You just want a spot. Easiest way to get in with these teams.
Easiest way to get in is wild card. Division might be out of reach anyways, because who knows what's going to happen. Is there 6 games between the Padres and the Dodgers left?
Yes.
Who knows what's going to happen in those 6?
I believe there's 7.
They can flip everything. So I do think you're kind of rooting for the Dodgers, as terrible as that sounds.
858 says, who replaces Cease in the rotation?
It's a great question, and it's one that AJ Preller hopefully is thinking about. And there's a chance a starting pitcher is coming over as well.
Well, that's okay. So Alcantara has been the name that's kind of been linked to the Padres, but also has kind of went dark here for a second. They really like his stuff. They think his velocity's up, even though his ERA was +7 heading into 2 weeks ago. So maybe he comes over.
But think about who they've been trying out. Bergert's been trying out for a starting spot essentially all year.
Right.
Kyle Hart is no longer on the team. Can't remember.
Yeah, but like Bergert and Hart, like let's be real. Bergert might be able to be a part of the bullpen for a second.
Bergert's been nice. I like him.
Yes, but starting a playoff game, let's be honest. Are we confident about that?
Well, no. You have to be confident in the fact that Michael King is coming back and is healthy. You have to be confident in you, Darvish, hopefully figuring it out. And then Nick Pivetta has been solid for you all year long.
If King is back, that's one that you're going to swap out. Let's just say for Cease. But again, going back to today's game, why it's crucial, not only from a standpoint of winning another game in a tight wild card race against a good ball club in the New York Mets, but if Darvish sucks and if Darvish looks like he can't pitch anymore, now that's 2 holes in the rotation. This is a big contingency plan tonight. I wonder if Preller is ready to pull the gun or pull the trigger on a Cease deal, but you got to look at Darvish here, because if Darvish comes out here and has pitched like he has the last couple weeks, and you're going, he's hurt, he has to be shut down. Now, can you really, with a straight face, trade Dylan Cease unless you know you are getting a starting caliber pitcher coming back? Or you better hope that Michael King is legit coming back and going to be excellent when he does come back.
Our buddy Tyler on YouTube saying, I could see a 3-team deal, something along the lines of Cease to the Astros sending prospects to Cleveland sending Quan or Bieber or both to the Padres. Look, if the Padres walked out of this trade deadline with Quan and Bieber, I think you're okay with that. You are more than all right with that. All right, quick break here. Long shots on the other side. Let's see if Sammy Long can't make us a little bit of money here on a Wednesday. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim, the award-winning John and Jim. How about that?
Award-winning.
Coming up after us. Happy birthday to Brent. Belated, by the way. Yesterday was Brent Sperry's birthday. And he's celebrating by like breaking his leg. I don't know. Have you seen Brent's leg?
His ankle, right?
Oh, yeah. Looks like mine when it was broken.
Yeah. Brent is the unsung hero around here. He gets his name should be on that with John and Jim.
I was like, did you go to the doctor? And he said, why would I? There's no bone sticking out. That dude's a man. 484 texting in saying Quan would be a huge upgrade, but the Padres need another left-handed batter like they need a hole in the head. Call the Orioles. Adley Rutschman, Ramon, help me out, Sammy. Loreno? I believe it's Loreno.
Yes, yeah.
Cedric Mullins and random bullpen expiring arm for pitch or for Cease, Suarez, Solis, and 2 other middling prospects. Throw the world at Adley. Look,
yeah, well, and you're getting a young, talented player if you get Rutschman.
Who knows if he's even available? The Orioles might be holding on to him like crazy, but he is young, talented. I would also throw the world at him, but there's a reason GMs are GMs. And Sammy and I talking to a microphone because if I was the GM of anything, I would make the most outrageous trades ever and potentially screw the team over in 10 years. So we'll see about that. Hey, coming up in hour 2, Sammy, did you get that tsunami warning on your phone yesterday?
Yes, I was watching last night.
Were you a little freaked out? I was a little freaked out for a second.
Well, no, because I was kind of inland.
Oh yeah, you live up in the RB area.
Yeah, I was like, my mom.
I live in a valley, dude. If a tsunami comes to San Diego, Mission Valley gets flooded.
Well, I was like, wait, are we all gonna die at 1 a.m.? Because it was like, I'm like, should we be like up and like Adam, like making sure? I mean, not that we're gonna escape the water. It's not like it's gonna. But I was watching the local Hawaii feed on the Weather Channel last night.
Did you see the traffic in Hawaii?
Yeah, did you? By the way, I'm watching the thing and they're like live, and he's like it's freaky. Like I know people that are in Hawaii. That would be scary. I would be.
It's horrifying. You're on a little floating rock in the middle of the ocean.
I would be freaking out. And these people, some of them are like still out on boats.
Yeah,
just cruising. It's like 7 o'clock in Waikiki.
How about the surfers who are out there just looking at me like, oh, bring the big one. Let's go.
Yeah,
I want to surf it.
I saw one dude literally. The hotel is in like Waikiki. And the hotel's like facing the water. I think it's like right downtown, and people are on their balcony, on like the 5th floor, just watching it.
I'm like, get it for the gram, dude.
The gram's not going to be around. The phone's not going to be around to post.
Yeah, kind of wild. I was freaked out for about 20 minutes, and then I realized probably nothing to worry about. And the water rose like an inch. So I don't think we had anything to actually be worried about. But crazy, 8.8 earthquake. I think that's one of the biggest ones recorded in history that hit off the coast of Russia, like 80 miles or something. Wild times.
Yeah,
Are you gonna make an earthquake right now?
With the amount of money
that's what I'm saying.
Prize Picks is going to be paying out.
That's what I'm saying.
Everyone, and then you know what you do after you went on Prize Picks for Ben, then you take all that money, all that winnings, because you don't just take your money and put it in your bank account. That's boring. I mean, why would you do that? You go to Circa and you play Circa Million. You play Circa Survivor, season-long NFL fun. That's what Ben and I are doing.
Well, Sammy, I think it's time for you to smash that effing button, dude. Let's go. Oh, this is rough.
Yeah, you didn't give me a heads up. All right, here.
We were talking about long shots.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, he's all big time now, huh? It's time for Sammy's Long Shots. Hold on. Can't talk until I say the important stuff. Long Shots is presented by Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Now, go.
Yu Darvish, more than 4.5 strikeouts.
I have a Yu Darvish thing in here, but it's not strikeouts.
Whoa.
Do you want me to start with that?
Sure.
Okay. This is actually, I have a 1 red demon pick in this thing. By the way, last night we didn't hit one, but we tied on 2 and Ketel Marte sold us. Very frustrating. Yu Darvish, more than 15.5 red demon pitching outs.
Whoa.
Now, some people are going to go, Sammy, why are you betting over on pitching outs?
He's going into the 6th inning. That's what you're counting on?
Yes.
For 1 out in the 6th inning. That's all he needs.
For a guy who has had elbow trouble and is 38 years old. But here's why. Trade deadline's tomorrow. AJ Peller's going to be watching. They're not going to pull Yu Darvish early. They need to see what's going on. They need to see, even if he's in trouble, they need to see if he can work out of this a little ways. Because they need to know if they need to get a pitcher. Can you trade Dylan Cease? If you trade Dylan Cease, do you need to get a pitcher back? Because the Padres won't have a rotation if you trade Dylan Cease and you have to put Yu Darvish, on the IL or whatever. So I think they're going to let him go a ways tonight. They've been building this up. Yu Darvish, more than 15.5 red demon pitching outs. Sue me.
I like it. By the way, in our YouTube chat right now, Leilula and Tyler are going back and forth with a bunch of trade scenarios, and our buddy Paris just jumped in and said, "Is football here yet?"
Paris, hey, I'm with you, baby. Football, we're tomorrow Hall of Fame game. I mean, don't even get me started.
We're locked. All right, what's next?
Paris, I'm with you, man. Shohei Ohtani, more than 4.5 pitcher strikeouts. Now, I know people don't want to bet on the Dodgers, but I think this is going to hit. Shohei Ohtani, the Dodgers have been gradually working him up. He went 1 inning a couple times against the Padres. Then he went 2, 3, I believe went 4 innings in his last time out. This number is showing that the Dodgers are going to let him go a little bit of ways. They had a tough game yesterday. Tyler Glasnow got ate up in the 4th, 5th inning. They had to pull him, so they had to use a lot of the bullpen arms. A lot of the bullpen arms are still hurt. So I think they're going to let Shohei Ohtani go a little bit of ways tonight. I would not be surprised if he goes 4 to 5 innings. And he's been fantastic. He's only given up 2 earned runs in like 4 or 5 starts. It came off of a 2-run home run. So Shohei Ohtani, more than 4.5 pitcher strikeouts today. I think he's going to get that one. Brian Wu, my last one. Seattle pitcher for playing the Athletics. Brian Wu has been fantastic this season. One of my favorite young pitchers to watch in the league. 6 pitcher strikeouts, more than. And I know the A's aren't a great lineup, so I think he's gonna mow through this a little bit. He's hit the number in each of the last 2. He's hit 6 exactly, so he hasn't gone over. He had an under on his 3rd start or 3 starts ago, but he had been hitting his overs every time since. This is a guy who against the Yankees almost won a complete game or 9 innings. Brian Wu, more than 6 pitcher strikeouts. Seattle's a really tough team, and they're going to get out of the series with a big win against the A's.
What was the last one, Brian Wu? What was it?
Brian Wu, more than 6 pitcher strikeouts. Do you want another one so you can veto one?
Well, didn't Brian Wu fail us last time?
Yeah, but it wasn't his fault.
It was his fault.
No, I watched the game, and the ump was really conspiring.
He damn near had a no-hitter.
He damn near had a no-hitter, and the ump was literally not being kind to us and giving us strikeouts. It was not Brian Wu's fault.
The ump was mad at us.
Yeah, the ump got a little call. Was like, hey, we got so much money lined up on Brian Wu.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Go one more.
Okay, now this is the same game, Cincy and the Dodgers. Nick Martinez, less than 4 pitcher strikeouts, pitcher going for the Cincinnati Reds.
I miss that guy. Nick Martinez was cool.
We're going less. Now, yesterday, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name that begins with L, was fantastic. Absolutely mowed down the Dodger lineup. He had 10 to 11 strikeouts. Fantastic. And they got to save a lot of their bullpen yesterday. It was actually the bullpen that kind of sold against the Dodgers last night, but it was not due to Lolita. I'm forgetting his name. But Nick Martinez today, I think they're going to. The Dodgers had a really tough time hitting against starting pitching yesterday. So I think they're going to come out with a vengeance. Shohei Ohtani with the bat went 0 for 5 last time with 4 strikeouts. So he really struggled. I think he goes Nick Martinez, less than 4 pitcher strikeouts. So Fletch, to recap, you get to veto one. What do you like? I'll recap it. Yu Darvish, more than 15.5 pitching outs. Red Demon. Nick Martinez, less than 4 pitcher strikeouts. Shohei Ohtani, more than 4.5 pitcher strikeouts. And Brian Wu, more than 6 pitcher strikeouts.
Brian Wu, see you later.
Really? No Brian Wu love.
See you, Bry. I think he spells his name with a Y. Like, what are we doing here?
You have a problem with Brian to spell their name with a Y?
Yeah, it's lame. That's not his fault. It's his parents' fault. Come on, Mr. and Mrs. Wu.
Mr. and Mrs. Wu.
Better spelling on the first name one time. And he failed us last time. I got faith in Yu Darvish. I like that pick a lot. For Red Demon.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to let him go a little ways. Do you think, real quick, back to parents naming their children, do you think that, I was thinking about this yesterday, just very randomly because I was bored. Do you feel like kids should be able to, like at age 10, change their name?
No.
Like, do you think that you should be able, well, they can change their name whenever, but do you think there should be a time when it comes where kids are like, you know what? I didn't like what you gave me?
No, because we'd end up with a whole lot of like Megatrons.
Like, you know what? I just
found your name would be like, I don't know.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah. T-Rex long.
No, but I found out yesterday, and Mom, I love you. I don't mean to expose you on live radio, but I found out yesterday that my name was not going to be Sammy. Get this. Bodie.
Bodie's not bad. Here, Bodie. Come here, boy. Come here, Bodie.
I'm not a dog, dude.
Bodie.
I was like,
I was like, rustle your head, Bodie.
I was like, Mom, did you want me to be bullied in high school? I was like, no, like, absolutely not. And my dad stepped in and saved us from that. I was like, it got me thinking.
Bodie's kind of a cool name.
Yeah, for a dog.
Not for a dude.
Not for a human being.
Bodie is a Brody, and you know
Bodie Long. That would have been my name. Bodie Long.
You'd have to be a surfer. There's no shot you could be doing what you do now.
It just got me thinking. I was like, I feel like kids should be able to step in there and say, hey, mom, dad, you messed up on this one. Let me take over.
Yeah, but if a 10-year-old got to pick their own name, the world would be chaos.
Freedom of speech. Just some thoughts for the text line. Just random thoughts I was having yesterday.
What would you change your name to if you were 10 years old and you had an opportunity to change your name? Text us 70470.
This is what you talk about on sports radio in the middle of the summer.
Oh, I love it. All right, trade deadline. We are what? Now we're 25-ish hours away. Am I doing that math
We're
right?
going to have Coach Quintero on at 1:30 for a preview tomorrow, 1.5 hours out. I hope there's some big news Coach gets to react to because coaches are Padre insider.
Jonas Knox on the show tomorrow. Coach Quintero on the show
Jay
tomorrow.
Knox on the show tomorrow?
Jonas Knox at 12:30 tomorrow. Coach Quintero 1:30 tomorrow. Today, Fletch and Sammy. That's who you got, baby. We got tickets to give away coming up in hour number 2, so don't go anywhere. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by Rapid Radios. Padres Mets getting going here. First pitch in 10 minutes. Padres favored by -120 on the money line. Clay Holmes will be going for the Mets, who bring in a record of 9-5 with a 3.40 ERA. And Yu Darvish be making his fourth start this season. It was 0-3 with a 9.18 ERA. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com. You'll get an extra 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get extra 5% off.
San Diego Sports 760. It's hour number 2 here on the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. Our buddy Paris on YouTube asking, is it football season yet? Paris, I got news for you, pal.
Dude.
35 days, 10 hours, 59 minutes, and 24 seconds.
I'm so excited for the Hall of Fame game tomorrow.
That's crazy to say, but I'm excited to see.
Why is that crazy today to say?
I'm excited to see football being played. I'm excited to see Antonio Gates be honored.
I'm excited to see Quentin Johnson try to catch passes.
Quentin Johnson's not going to sniff the field. Neither is any other.
He should be practicing. Is what he should be. If you're a Charger fan, you should be wanting him to practice.
Are you serious, Sammy? Have you seen their social media? Quentin Johnson is like the best player in a Chargers uniform in training camp. Are you crazy right now?
He's amazing when he catches passes when there's no one guarding him.
I quote, QB smooth with it.
Wow.
Fantasy breakout.
The Chargers post that?
Yeah, I think they did like a couple weeks ago.
That's
all right.
Wow,
but football is going to have to hold on this show at least for another 15 minutes or so, because we got 10 minutes till the Padres first pitch today at Petco Park. They're up 2-0 on the Mets in this series. Don and Mudd are on the TV. That's all good news. Right after that game gets going, we are switching. We are football the rest of the show. I promise you that. We got some juicy topics, including why the Kansas City Chiefs aren't going to win a single football game this year. We'll get into that. It's going to be crazy.
Oh, please.
But right now, I think all attention, rightfully so, should be on the Padres, who last night had another really, really nice performance against the New York Mets, where the offense is coming to life. And you're starting to see glimpses of that team that started off 14-3 because they were scoring in a variety of ways. Manny Machado provided the power. He's the only active player in Major League Baseball to have 10 straight seasons of 20 or more home runs. The longevity of Manny Machado and the consistency of Manny Machado is what is going to put him in baseball's Hall of Fame one day. And I can't really be convinced otherwise. The back of the baseball card for him has been pretty incredible his entire career, and the consistency with which he plays, both numbers wise and just amount of games every single year, is as impressive as anything else he's done in his career. Now, add a World Series to that with the San Diego Padres, talking about like a top 20 player all time, maybe. But right now, where Manny Machado is going, he is on a Hall of Fame pace. And that was on display last night. A good game for the Padres, who get it done on defense and on offense last night. They're starting to play consistent. Jackson Merrill is starting to hit again, which is huge for them. Fernando Tatis Jr., it feels like he's getting a bit of his swagger back. Really, the only Padre who's been a disappointment over the last month has been the new dad, Gavin Sheets. What the hell happened to him? He's batting 8th today.
Again, this is why you don't put family first.
Sammy, come on, dude. Yes, you should put family first. However, since Gavin Sheets went on paternity leave, he has been a shell of himself, and he has not even come close to touching a baseball. But maybe that changes today.
Stop being so selfish.
Yeah, stop taking care of your, I don't know, brand new baby staying up all night. Is that what's going on?
It's
Gavin,
a joke,
we need to have a talk.
Everyone gets crazy on the text line. God.
Sorry, maybe we need to have a talk with Gavin. Maybe his priorities need to be set back straight.
Hey, you signed a contract, bud.
But we'll see if Gavin can turn it around. I'm sure there's been a lot of sleepless nights at the Sheets household with brand new baby. But what I'm getting at is you picked a real good time, Padres, to have some really good showings. Because regardless of what happens over the next couple of days, which I expect the Padres to be involved in at least a few moves, and maybe it's an AJ Preller special where there's 5 things happening that we didn't know were going to even come close to happening. I could see all that happening over the next 2 days. But the fan base is in a good spot to maybe have a little bit of disappointment with some guys walking out the door, and maybe to continue some excitement with some new faces coming into the Padres, and hopefully faces that are here to make a difference and push them in the right direction for a playoff push. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Like you win the last 4, run differential, all of a sudden it was at like +1 2 weeks ago. Now it's up to +27 on the season. You're winning, and you're winning big. That is the right time to do it for a fan base who's starving for some wins.
Yeah. And you're beating teams that you need to beat. You kind of haven't buried the Cardinals yet, but you did a good job. That would have been bad if you lose that 4-game series. We're going to see the Cardinals again later this weekend. So hopefully that's a 2 or 3, a sweep going on there. And then you're beating the thing we've been talking about coming into this Mets series. And we talked about with Kevin Acee. Yeah, the stats a little skewed because you could beat someone who's right above 500 and then you drop them below 500 and your record against teams above 500 gets skewed. But the Padres coming into the Mets series was 22-34. And that's by far the worst in the NL. The Dodgers are surprisingly actually the second worst at like 26-27, something like that. But that's not a good record. But to beat a Mets team that we know will be there. This Mets team was the hottest team in baseball outside of the Padres heading into last year. They gave the Dodgers some hell. That series went 6 games. Pete Alonso hit that walk-off or a big late inning home run against the Brewers in the playoff series. So they're doing against better competition. Again, going back to this, I'm excited to see you, Darvish, today, see what's going on there, if he really is going to be a factor in this rotation going forward, or is this more problems? I mean, this game, take away the fact that you just want to win the game to sweep the Mets. This game could be extremely pivotal for the rest of the season based on what the Padres' moves are in the next 24 hours. We talked about it last hour. If you, Darvish, is awful today, can you go trade Dylan Cease and not get a starting pitcher back? If you, Darvish, is awful, is Sandy Alcantara your number one priority? If you, Darvish, is great, maybe he's fantastic and we start seeing the Yu Darvish that we've been accustomed to seeing, then can you focus on getting some bats or some bullpen help to add to the 4 horsemen? So this game will mean a lot today, and I'm excited to see how Yu Darvish goes.
And the catchers have done a lot to protect their jobs recently. Over the last 11 games, I think combined, the catchers are over 300 with the batting average.
We can't get sidetracked with that.
You think they still need to go after a catcher?
100%. There has been a large sample size of games. It's great that Elias Diaz has been playing better the last week and a half, and he has.
Well, it's like a dog who you start to have the conversations about, hey, is it time to maybe put Bodie down? Using your dog name, Sammy. Is it time to maybe start thinking about...
let's be depressing.
No, I'm just saying,
getting put
down. Well, we're talking about the catchers who all of a sudden have this resurgence of life, but you have that conversation as a family, and then all of a sudden the dog looks great, and all of a sudden the dog is happy and kind of bouncing around a little bit.
For a majority of the season, they have not been very good. Wow.
We could just really
a dark start to hour 2.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Wow.
The dog has been dying for the majority of the season at the catcher position, and right now it's showing some signs of life. Are you going to trust those signs of life, or are you going to have to continue with we need a catcher?
So you're equating the Padres to getting a catcher at the deadline as putting a dog down tomorrow.
Bingo. 619, text the show. Bodie is a sick name, Sammy. Point Break.
Oh, well, yeah. Point Break was cool.
Different 619 number. Motor Bodie Long.
That's, wow.
I don't hate that.
Wow, 619.
You can go a lot of different directions with that. And then our buddy from the 484, who I believe is Handyman Matt, saying, Sammy, I need one more team in a 12-team fantasy league, $200 per team, 3 franchise tag keepers. Bonus, you get Purdy and Burrow as the best keeper option. So you can bench Purdy all season long just to spite Fletch. Is that something you're interested in?
I might be down for that.
Handyman Matt, Sammy Long taking over the world.
I might be down for that later.
Good news for you, Handyman Matt. Sammy sucks at fantasy football.
No.
God, he was in our work league this year. Dead last.
I just got hired. Dom, our favorite salesperson, was like, hey, I need help drafting this league. We forgot the draft was on a certain night, so I was watching it live, texting Dom to make the picks on a 30-second clock. By the way, Eddie Papani,
dead last.
Eddie Papani runs the league. No offense, horrible commissioner. I mean, a terrible commissioner. We have no idea what the rules. The defenses score no points.
I know the rules.
He nerfed every single rule in the league. There's no customization. There's no class to it. There's no flair.
Eddie, if you're listening, I love the league. I've come in second 3 years in a row now, which always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Am I right, ladies? It's been rough, but I'm getting that belt this year.
No, I promise you. We'll place a bet. I promise you I will outpace you in the fantasy league this year.
Doubt it. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Let's get to the big 3 really quick here. Padres are about to get going. So, Sammy Long, why don't we smash that button and get things started in hour 2?
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
All right, hour 2, where we starting? Big hour, Sammy. This one, we're going to be judged on this one heavy.
We're going to be judged on this heavy?
That's what I've heard.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh, boy.
Interesting quote coming out of Miami training camp. Said he's not too cool to take reps. Talking about the preseason, saying basically kind of dogging players out.
Ooh, which quarterback is he going after?
Who don't play in the preseason. problem with the quote?
No problem at all. But I want to know who he's talking about. I want to know which quarterback for one of the other 31
Is he talking
teams.
about Dan Campbell?
Maybe.
As a whole?
Maybe because Dan Campbell doesn't essentially do anything. By the way, did you see Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get reps at wide receiver for the Lions?
No.
Yeah, that was the news report this morning out of Detroit.
Ben Johnson leaves, and then all of a sudden it all comes apart.
Things get wacky. Although the reports out of Chicago aren't great either. But from Tua Tagovailoa, I like it, dude. Tua, he gets questioned a lot. And the reason behind it, unfortunately, is his brain hasn't taken hits well. And that sucks for Tua. Like, I legitimately feel bad for him. I
People
think
are worried about his health, like genuinely worried about watching him and him keeling over.
But don't you think part of like the Tua not playing a ton of the last few seasons, although last year he was relatively healthy, Tua not playing a ton, it's almost like we get this false sense of we forget why he's not playing a ton and just go to the fact that he's injury prone. Where I don't think he's necessarily injury prone. I just think his body is legitimately built different than some other people in the NFL, and he takes concussions much worse. So I think Tua might get a little. That's the
definition of injury prone.
I understand, Sammy, but it's really one part of him. It's just his head, and that sucks, but there's no controlling it. So I think Tua is proving, he's saying, no, look, man, I want to work. I'm here. I'm a hard worker. Unlike some other people in this league, I like it from Tua. Show a little nerve.
Tua's talking a lot for a guy. Like, I want him to be healthy. Like, he can be a very good quarterback in this league at times. He's not an elite level passer. He puts up big regular season numbers. We haven't seen it in the postseason. Now, I know his one playoff start was when in Kansas City when it was literally -20. So I guess we'll give him a little bit of a pass, but you're going to have to go into these places and win. It's odd what's coming out about Tua. This not cool quote. Then people were asking him if he was going to wear the what's the cap called? The concussion.
The Guardian cap.
The Guardian cap. Like, genuinely not telling him what to do, but just asking because we have seen this guy literally, sadly, people are like, is he seriously hurt? Not moving on the field of concussion. He's like, respect my privacy. Don't ask me that again. And then he's hearing about how him and Tyreek have to mend relationships last week, about how you don't just say Tyreek kind of said he wanted out and is questioning Tyreek. And now all of a sudden we're hearing him dog out other players.
All right, Tyreek is the problem in that relationship.
No,
we can be very honest.
You know what
Tyreek
Hill does? He produces.
No, you know what Tyreek Hill does is leaves the press conference early, right after a postseason game, and saying, "I'm done with this place." That is childish as hell.
He doesn't have a quarterback who can. He went from a quarterback who was a Super Bowl champion to a quarterback playing in Miami with a team that has.
This is Chiefs bias. I'm hitting the alarm. I need one of those staples.
This is not
easy
Chiefs
buttons.
Bias.
No, yeah, it is.
Patrick Mahomes is not a great quarterback.
He's a great quarterback.
Oh, is
he's
also a good quarterback.
He is one of one. Patrick Mahomes is one of one. And Tyreek Hill, by the way, is the guy who, like, week 1 with the Dolphins said Tua is the most talented thrower of the football I've ever been around.
Where would you rank Tua Tagovailoa out of 32 quarterbacks?
Probably 8 or 9.
Is he better than Brock Purdy?
On the same playing field. Dude, it goes top 4, and then there's just a group. That's how I look at quarterbacks.
Tua Tagovailoa is in the teens, along with Brock Purdy, around 16, 17, 18, something like that. Tua's talking a lot.
I do need a little Staples button in here. That was easy button. I need a Chiefs bias button.
No, it's not Chiefs bias. It's a fact. It's like Tua's. This kind of odd quotes coming out of him. Listen, you want to play in the preseason? That's your prerogative. But I don't know why you're taking shots at other NFL players for resting their body. For a guy who you should know more than anyone has had massive injuries in his career. Don't know why you're taking shots at guys who want to hang out.
Let's squeeze another one in here.
Okay, so Daryl Morey, the GM for the Philadelphia 76ers, running his mouth talking about how the Lakers 2020 championship has an asterisk behind it.
Yeah, it does.
Because it was in the bubble. Well, you go first, and then I'll take this apart. But go first about your comments about Daryl Morey speaking out.
Okay, I mean, I agree with him. I think it's unprofessional for a GM to say something like that, but I do agree. Like, even the baseball one, I like to give a lot of smack to the Dodgers because I just don't like the Dodgers. That one felt more fair because everyone was dealing with the same conditions. The basketball one, it was crazy that the team who needed a 2 or 3 week break the most is the one who ended up being the champions. Like, part of baseball, part of basketball, part of football is the war of attrition aspect. And the fact that the Lakers, who had aging LeBron and aging Anthony Davis, who were both dealing with minor injuries leading into the bubble, both were able to get that much time off and get healthy, did feel like a little bit of an unfair advantage. Even though everyone got the time off, the Lakers felt like they needed it more than anybody, and then they were able to just walk through the postseason that year.
Except, how about the fact that the Lakers were the 1 seed and didn't get to have any home playoff games?
Dude, no one had home playoff games.
Exactly. So teams that were higher up in the Western Conference or Eastern Conference got screwed out of having the thing that they had worked for all season long to have a Game 7 on their home court. That's why we saw the Miami Heat who's an extremely low seed in the Eastern Conference. I believe they were the 8th seed, make it all the way to the finals because you didn't have to go on the road in Boston or in Philly or something like that. In regards to Daryl Morey,
that's crazy that he would say that.
It's crazy you would say it. Number one, he was the GM of the Houston Rockets, who the Lakers beat on their way to win the bubble that year. And then his whole trust the process. Philadelphia, you have been a horrible GM. Just aside from the fact you signed Paul George to a massive extension. This guy can't play basketball anymore. It's a fact. And he's a known playoff choke artist. You get rid of James Harden. You have never had success when you're there. You tell Philadelphia all the time about how you're going to trust the process. You're finally going to get one. Unfortunately for Joel Embiid, he's had to deal with a lot of knee injuries and knee injections. You have Tyrese Maxey is really the only positive thing going for you right now in Jared McCain. I don't really know why Daryl Morey's opening his mouth, and it just is odd to me that the guy who got beat on his way to the Lakers winning a bubble championship, I could argue was maybe one of the hardest championships to win considering the time that we were all living in. They were in a bubble. The teams that played later had to stay in the bubble later. Beyond me. Daryl Morey's talking.
Chiefs bias button. Boom. 559 listening from the Netherlands. I moved out here from San Diego 2 months ago. It's 10 p.m. at night over here. Been a huge fan since day one. Keep it up, guys. 559. How about
Shout
that?
out to you, man.
International. We're going worldwide. Why?
Man, why? Shout out to this man. I mean, listening in the Netherlands, 10 p.m. right now.
I love that. I don't even think Sammy knew that was a real place until just now.
Have you been out of the country before, Fletch?
Oh, yeah. Plenty of times.
Netherlands?
Not Netherlands.
That'd
Been
be
to
a fun
Europe.
trip.
I was like 7 years old when we went to Europe as a family. Been to Mexico a bunch. Been to Canada a bunch. That's it.
Do you remember anything from the 7-year-old trip to Europe?
Puked on the top floor of the Eiffel Tower. Boom.
Wow. That's a way to go to break.
Yep. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Tickets to give away coming up next. NFL to talk coming up next. Let's get it going on a Wednesday. Thank you for being here. AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress could secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 right now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now and keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates do apply. Sammy and I like our jobs. Love our jobs. In fact, I got a DM yesterday on Twitter or X saying, man, working in sports is the dream. Hope you guys continue to kill it.
Yeah,
working in sports radio is the dream. Man, I've had a lot of fun over the last 7 or 8 years now. Going back to my first job out of college, running the board for Nick Hardwick and Judson Richards, and then Costa and Richards, and then Steve Hartman and Ernie Martinez, and then Steve Hartman and Rich Orenberger.
All goes right there.
And then Big Rich Orenberger and Travis Dale and myself, and now me and Sammy. God, it's been a roller coaster.
It's it's not a bad thing to do every day. You know what I mean?
It's a fun gig, talking sports with your buddies. This is what I'd be doing anyways. Glad I could do it here and talking sports with all of you. I love the text line 70470. Start your message with team.
Yeah, you guys are the other voice on the show.
You are probably the most important voice on the show, determining whether or not Sam and I keep our jobs. So text AM radio to 52886 right now to support keeping AM radio in cars. AM radio, how would you have known about the tsunami yesterday without it?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
saying.
What if there's like a, I don't know, nuclear warhead? Guess what you're not going to hear? You're not going to hear on FM. All those towers out.
Yeah.
You're not. Well, you guys
I don't think you know what the hell you're talking about
No,
right now.
I don't
AM radios are on towers
but,
too.
No, AM signals go farther. So that's
Yeah.
just a little something.
What
you know?
Sammy said. It's all about that blowtorch signal strength, baby. Radio buzzwords. All right, we do have the first official power rankings of the NFL season for this year, which is exciting. But the Padres are underway, and we're not really going to talk about it outside of the fact that Yu Darvish threw 17 pitches in the first inning. And Sammy, you said what?
Well, I said my long shots is cooked.
Because Yu Darvish threw too many pitches in the first inning?
Yeah, because
one guy got on base, Sammy.
I know, when he threw 17 pitches. That's not a good pace for him.
17 times what? 5? What is that? We're doing math here. No, Sammy's going to be useless in that.
Just exhilarating radio. Doing math live on radio. 17 times 5.
That's 85 pitches.
Okay.
So
I need perfection. When I put you in a lineup, I expect perfection. You know that, remember the Titans meme? He goes, you drop a pass, you run a mile.
Left side, strong side.
Exactly. That's the kind of energy we bring to long shots every day.
Well, we haven't for about a month now, so hopefully today turns things around. Hopefully Yu Darvish maybe goes 3 pitches in his next inning. That'd be helpful. All right, power rankings in the NFL. Sammy, do you have some NFL horns for me while I set this up? Would love to get to those. But as we are now 35 days away from the start of the NFL season, Fox Sports NFL has released their first official power rankings of the season. And I got beef with it, but it's probably not warranted beef. So we'll just start from the very, very tippy top. Philadelphia Eagles just won the Super Bowl. They probably deserve to be number 1 overall. They are number 1 overall. Number 2, Baltimore Ravens. Number 3, Kansas City Chiefs, just edging out number 4, Buffalo Bills. Sammy, are you okay with where the Chiefs are at? Number 3?
I wish they put them at 32 for bulletin board material.
Oh my God. But Ravens and Eagles, those are both defendable. That they're ahead of the Chiefs.
No, the Eagles deserve to be 1. They won the Super Bowl, obviously. I do think there's some concerns defensively, but in terms of offense, they bring everyone back. They probably have an easier path to the Super Bowl because the NFC, I feel like, is a little more top heavy than the AFC. But yeah, I mean, it just shows to show that the Eagles are number 1. Like, keep reading the list, but the AFC makes up a large portion of the top 10.
So I don't think there's any argument with who the top 4 should be. It should be those 4 teams. And I really wouldn't have an issue if you put them in any order of the top 4. It should be Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, and Bills. That should be the top 4 heading into this NFL season. But I could hear an argument for Bills being number 1. I could hear an argument for Chiefs being number 1, Ravens number 1, Eagles number 1. That's fine. Where it gets interesting is right after that. Because then Fox goes with the Green Bay Packers at 5. Young roster, questionable defense. I still have a lot of questions about Matt LaFleur as a head coach, if I'm being completely honest. Jordan Love has shown a lot in his first couple seasons as a starter, but will he continue to grow with a young wide receiver room that's often injured? I don't know about the Packers at 5. Number 6 is the biggest head scratcher on the list. Do you have any guess on who number 6 is?
I think it's a head scratcher. I'm going to say it's the Rams.
Scratcher. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Really?
The Pittsburgh Steelers, who roster-wise, hard to disagree with. Quarterback
wise, they're better than like Buffalo or you can make a case that they're a top 3 talented roster in the NFL.
Fox is given a lot of leash to Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback, that he's going to come and do something special. I don't know about that. I probably would have had a team that came in at number 7 up to number 5, the Washington Commanders, who you got to have faith in them after what they did a year ago.
But is Terry McLaurin going to be there? That's a real. If he's not there, that team takes a massive step back.
That's a huge question. Number 8, a team with no defense, but maybe the best offense in the league, the Cincinnati Bengals. All the way at number 9, the Detroit Lions.
The Bengals are way too. Oh, read 10 till we have the full top 10 list.
10 is the Chargers.
Yeah.
Notable teams that did not make the top 10. I think the Bucks would be a notable team. The Rams would be a notable team. Texans, Vikings, Niners, who are all the way down at 18. The hell are we doing there? The Dolphins all the way down at 24. They don't have faith in them.
We can get to more on the other side because we're going to continue NFL talk. But I feel like, well, the Bengals at 8 they might have the best offense in the league.
I think they do.
And they are going to be 32nd in defense. Even if Trey Anderson's there, the defense is an abomination. It was terrible last year. They can't defend the run. You're counting on a first-year rookie who only had 4.5 sacks at Texas A&M to come in and be the savior. They didn't really do much there. The Chargers are very complete. I get why they made the top 10. I am concerned with the amount of pass catchers. At some point, you better hope Trey Harris is that guy that matches the production of a second-round pick that you had from Vlad McConkey last year.
Steelers at 6 is crazy to me. The Niners at 18, I think objectively is kind of crazy to me. If I'm trying to look at it just in all honesty, it does seem crazy. Bears at 17 feels about right. Cowboys 19 feels about right. Jacksonville should probably be higher up. I think they're better than 20th in the NFL. Let's get this going on the other side, because what's almost more interesting is the bottom of the list.
Yeah, so
final few teams.
Texas 704. Read it one more time, the top 10.
Top 10. Eagles 1, Ravens 2, Chiefs 3, Bills 4, Packers 5, Steelers 6, Commanders 7, Bengals 8, Lions 9, Chargers 10.
Texas 70470. Start your message with team. Again, 70470. Start your message with team. What team in the top 10 shouldn't be there? How would you rearrange the list? And what team out of it needs to be moved up? We'll get to it on the other side.
Take a quick break. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Allstate. Padres in action right now. Top of the second. Darvish's 22 pitches in. Score is currently 0-0 with 1 out. The Hall of Fame game gets going tomorrow. Chargers, Lions, cannot wait for that tomorrow night. So people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
I like the music today, Sammy. You're hitting a good vibe. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. We all remember that one teacher who made a difference in our lives, who believed in us, who challenged us, or who just made learning fun. Now is your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stack their classroom with whatever they need. Help us say thank you to the educators who are shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher today at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. I have the privilege of being married to a teacher. And when I tell you she works way too hard and doesn't make enough money, I promise you that is a fact. And she spends a lot of her own money on her classroom every single year. And while she loves her job, all these teachers could use some help. So this is a pretty cool way to do it. iHeartRadio.com/teachers. Next week, we're actually going to be reading a bunch of the nominees here in San Diego, their names out on air. So if you're married to a teacher, if your kids have a teacher that you really, really love, nominate them today, iHeartRadio.com/teachers. Sammy's favorite teacher, Miss Ellis. Did you nominate her?
I should do that.
What are we doing, Sammy?
Miss Ellis the best. South Pasadena, Roadrunners.
I'd argue Mrs. Fletcher is a little bit better, either my mom or my wife.
Your mom was teacher?
It's not a competition. Yes, she was. She was a great teacher for years and years and years. Retired now, enjoying retirement, probably watching us on YouTube right now. Hi, Mom.
Shout out to Mom.
So it's all good stuff, man. But nominated teacher today, iHeartRadio.com/teachers. All right, text line a little bit pissed off because of those power rankings. And I'd like to say those were not mine and Sammy's power rankings. Those were from Fox, their NFL team, who put those out today. And I'll be honest, waking up to power rankings, I got excited. I was like, oh, you can feel it. You feel the buzz. Tomorrow there's football on TV. We got power rankings out. So let's go 858. Excited for an NFL season with you boys. Sammy's long shots will be wild and Fletch will cringe me to death with Niner content. LFG. I promise you, I will make the biggest commitment possible to cover everything very, very down the middle.
858, we got you. And
can't make the same promise for Sammy. Big Chiefs.
And I will refrain from pulling up McCole Hardman game-winning touchdown highlights in the Super Bowl. You know, we've all seen it, and I don't want Fletch to break down in tears during the NFL season, but thank you for riding with us.
Or Jimmy Garoppolo overthrowing Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, well, Frank Clark hit him right in the chest. But yeah, it's a conversation for another day.
615, I wish the Dolphins were listed at number 1 in those power rankings so that Chris Greer would finally be fired when they finish at 32. I don't think the Dolphins are going to be that bad this year.
Yeah, interesting. The offense should be good because last year you were making fun of me during the season. I was really high on the Dolphins halfway through.
You thought they were going on a run, making the postseason.
And they did. They won 4 or 5 games. It just was too late. On paper, if Tyreek, Tua, Waddle are there, Devon A-Chain, year 3, one of the fastest players in the NFL. I mean, that's Teron Armstead. The offense is there. You wonder about the defense. I don't think them losing Jalen Ramsey was that big of a deal. I think them getting Minka Fitzpatrick certainly was a big add. I know he struggled last year with Pittsburgh, but yeah, I'm excited. I wonder if Christian Wilkins goes back there.
Maybe that'd be fun to see if he stops kissing people. But the Dolphins, they lost another defensive player today for the entire season. And I can't remember who that was, but their entire secondary from last year is gone.
Yeah, it's a whole new secondary. I know they had a couple picks on them. 858, no Bucks or Falcons in the top 10. Steelers top 10 is making my dog sick.
Look, I would agree with you. Now the Falcons, it's questionable heading into next season. The Falcons ended up coming in at 25 on this list. Now
that feels way too low.
Way too low. However, we have no idea what Michael Penix is. The Falcons have also been that team over the last few years who, on paper, the offense looks like it should be sick.
Where's Minnesota again?
Minnesota is at 15.
See, if you're going to put Minnesota at 15, we've never seen JJ McCarthy before. We've seen Michael Penix in 3 games, and he actually looked not that bad. How are the Falcons at 25 with an offense with Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts?
You really going to say Kyle Pitts? What has Kyle Pitts done at the NFL level to make anyone believe, other than his size and his athletic ability, that he's going to be a great tight end?
Hey, it's this year.
The answer is nothing. Someone's still going to draft him way too high in fantasy, but Kyle Pitts has never done anything.
484, Eagles number 1, Cowboys number 30, and Niners middle of the pack list. No adjustments needed.
Cowboys were not 30. Cowboys were 19, but they should be lower. Niners at 18 is crazy to me. With the schedule that they have coming up this year, it feels like it's one you could go eat on. The bottom of the list is actually where it gets a little more interesting to me. So let's go with the final 5 teams heading into this NFL season. Panthers, Colts, Titans, Saints, in very last place in Fox's first year of NFL or first power rankings.
Who,
of
the Raiders?
Season. No, Raiders are at 23.
I was about to say.
Any guesses on who the bottom of the barrel team is in the NFL coming into this year, according to Fox?
Patriots?
Nope. Patriots at 22.
Who is it?
The Cleveland Browns.
Well,
I don't see any team that has Myles Garrett on it as being the bottom team in the league, especially when the Tennessee Titans exist.
But okay, those top 5 again. The Panthers have a quarterback. Bottom five, excuse me. Bryce Young.
I got faith in Bryce Young heading into this year.
They showed promise. Remember when they almost Leggett dropped the winning touchdown? They were going to beat Philly in that late season game.
Bryce Young, the last 6 weeks of the season, was a serviceable NFL quarterback a year
Not
ago.
even serviceable. He was he was the quarterback that they were looking at with no weapons around him.
I thought so too. He's like the opposite of Sam Darnold a year ago.
I think the Saints are going to have the number 1 pick next year. The Saints are not a good team.
Derek Carr retired, which really threw their season into a mess.
Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, they have a good receiving core.
Alvin Kamara aging.
But who's going to be the quarterback? Tyler Shuck's the quarterback? Or
don't they have Spencer Rattler on their team?
Yeah, like, come on. What are we doing there? Now,
they should have gotten Gardner Minshew. What are they doing?
I wonder if we're going to see a tank if Arch Manning is everything that they say he is. And again, we talked about this yesterday. Arch Manning has played 3 games in his career. And this is all based on a lot of it is the Manning name. It's story. He's playing at Texas. Texas is supposed to be back. They're the number 1 team heading into next year in the college football playoff rankings. And he's projected to be the number 1 pick. If he is that guy, if he's everything that they say he is, are we going to see teams at the bottom tanking? This is why we were talking about this yesterday. Why, if you're the Browns, would you not turn it over to Gabriel Shedeur Sanders? See what you have. If they suck and you're losing all these games, great. You draft Arch Manning next year. But starting Joe Flacco, unless the goal is literally to tank for Arch Manning, why would you have drafted Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders before this year anyway?
That's the right question to ask. I think the Colts should be in the Arch Manning conversation. How great would that be for another Manning to come don their colors, especially with Anthony Richardson not working out yet? I got faith in Anthony Richardson for some reason.
That's an open quarterback. I was watching SportsCenter this morning. That's an open competition between him and Daniel Jones.
I believe it. Look, DJ has shown a lot more success at the NFL level than Anthony Richardson has. I think just a lot of people like me and like you, Sammy, we were both high on Richardson going into last year, see the athletic ability and think this guy could be great. But if mentally it's not there, it's not there. And Daniel Jones has at least shown that he can win you some football games. And like I've said a million times, Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, same quarterback at the NFL level. One of them just gets thought of a lot higher than the other one. The other ones that are kind of confusing to me, the 2 New York teams are way down on this list. Giants at 26, Jets at 27. The Justin Fields injury, I bet you played a little bit into this because of how much time in training camp he's going to miss with this team. It sounds like he'll be ready to go for week 1. But Justin Fields, if you're like me and you're high on him heading into the season, and the Jets have a roster that is good enough, you would think. But if Justin Fields is going to miss significant time in training camp, it could just be a really slow start for the Jets. And then the Giants, who you look at the draft class that they brought in, you got to be high on it. Abdul Carter, I think, is a stud. I think he was the best pick in this draft this year. And then if Jackson Dart can show you anything after, 6 weeks of Russell Wilson is what my guess would be, all of a sudden the Giants are a good team.
Who, sticking in that division in the NFC, I saw this morning. How many quarterbacks would you rank in the NFC above Jalen Hurts?
Okay, well, if you're Cam Newton, you're ranking like all of them above Jalen Hurts. He thinks he's a waste of space.
Yeah, well, Jalen Hurts is better than Cam Newton ever could have been.
All right, I'm gonna put.
Is Jared Goff better than him?
That was the name I was going back and forth on just now. Look, Jared Goff, I really do think is an excellent quarterback, but so much goes into this because Jalen Hurts as a leader, I don't know if there's a better one in the NFL currently. I really don't.
I'm talking about player though. If you're drafting a team,
add that in with the quarterback conversation because it's so important. Jalen Hurts, I would have no problem saying that he is the best quarterback in the NFC. We are going to take a quick break here. We just had something go down in the Padres game that we will talk about coming up next, but a scary moment on the field for sure. It's San Diego Sports 760. Let's give away some tickets and then go to commercial break. We got a pair of tickets for you to go see Blues Traveler plus Gin Blossoms with special guest Spin Doctors at Gallagher Square, Petco Park, Saturday, August 16th. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Take a quick break. We'll come back with some Padres news on the other side. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Apologies if I freaked anyone out. I saw out of the corner of my eye in the Padres game, Fernando Tatis Jr. get hit by a pitch, and I thought it hit him square in the face. It did not. It looked like it hit him in the hand. Is that right, Sammy? And he looks like he's okay. He actually just ended up scoring a run. But hey, it's San Diego Sports 760, and if you have not done so yet, please download the free iHeartRadio app. Add us to your presets. There's a little plus button when you're listening to San Diego Sports 760. That'll put us right up at the top of your screen every time you open up the app. All right, before we get out of here and make way for John and Jim, I've been having some fun talking NFL. It's good to get back to it. We're 35 days away. Feels like it's reasonable to really dive deep into this, and there are still a bunch of free agents who are just waiting to be picked up by an NFL team, whether it's because of injuries in training camp or just waiting for the market to rise up again. But Odell Beckham Jr. is a name that's still out there. Someone who could be picking up a almost Super Bowl MVP at one point, mind you, with the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I think Odell's done.
You're done with OBJ? How about Keenan Allen?
He went to Miami. Keenan Allen could help someone. Keenan Allen's interesting. I wonder if he makes sense to go back to the Chargers, but I don't
make a ton of sense for the Chargers.
Bridges are burned or not, but yeah, Keenan Allen was a solid player last year for the Bears.
Amari Cooper still out there.
That's wild to me.
Amari
Cooper every season gets like cast off like he's some trash wide receiver, and every year it seems like he puts up big numbers regardless of who the quarterback is.
Yeah, he can go 900 yards, 14 touchdowns easy. He's a great red zone threat. Amari Cooper, I still think has a lot in him. Matthew Judon still available, last with the Falcons.
That'll be someone gets hurt.
I think so too. Asante Samuel Jr., who was with the Chargers, is still a free agent heading into this year. Jadeveon Clowney, I don't know how much he has left in the tank, but talk about a guy who could come in for a down per 4, right? Like 1 out of every 3 or 4 plays. Jadeveon Clowney could still make an impact. Rasul Douglas still available. Zadarius Smith still available. Justin Simmons is floating out there. Stephon Gilmore is floating out there. There are some names that will be signed by teams, I think, within the next few weeks who are guys that are maybe a little forgotten about. Like Stephon Gilmore 3 years ago was the best cornerback in football and is still out there available, wanting to play. I'm curious to see where some of these guys land. Do you really think Odell Beckham Jr. is done?
Yeah. I mean, what has he shown the last few years? He was hurt, and then, which sucks, when he got hurt in the Super Bowl for the Rams, and then he went to Miami and couldn't crack the rotation there. So I certainly think Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen will be way ahead of him.
I like OBJ, man. I think he could still land somewhere and help. All right. I don't know if you've seen, Sammy, but tomorrow night is the release of Naked Gun, the new movie with Liam Neeson.
I'm going to see it.
Have you seen the reviews?
100% Rotten Tomatoes.
Not anymore, but it was up there. It was at 95 last I looked, but at 30 reviews, it was at 100%. Rave reviews, people saying it's a long lost form of comedy that it's so nice to have back. They said it's not just a nostalgia grab. It is a seriously funny movie where every second they're hitting punchlines. I'm excited for this one. I might have to do a little double feature this weekend with Fantastic Four and Naked Gun back to back. Have you seen Fantastic Four yet?
No, I haven't. I should go see that. Like, not the most excited I've been for a movie, but I like the cast. Pedro Pascal's good. Vanessa Kirby's good. So yeah, I've heard
Pedro Pascal just keeps touching people on the red carpet.
Yeah, have you seen that?
It's weird, dude. I get
dude,
like
you look like Pedro Pascal. I mean,
I know, but in the anxiety thing is what he's claimed. And look, mental health obviously takes priority, but you're also like grabbing married women by the waist all the time. It's a little
Hey,
odd.
Don't be going at Pedro. Pedro's the man.
It's fine. He'll sign like 5 more movies by the time I'm done saying this sentence, or 5 more TV shows with HBO. The dude is the most in-demand person in Hollywood. The other news that came out, the movie that is going to be like the sequel, but not quite sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is going to be the Cliff Booth story, which was played by Brad Pitt in the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie, has begun filming. Leonardo DiCaprio will not be back. Margot Robbie will not be back because, well, spoiler alert. No, wait, she didn't die. In the real story, she dies.
Yeah, no, they changed it.
That's right. But I'm excited about that. Cliff Booth was an excellent character in that movie. And that one will be a lot of fun too. Sammy, what do you got going on today?
What do I got going on today? Nothing much. Probably gonna go watch this Padre game and just kick it. I'm gonna be out of town Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Going to Palm Springs, LA, little vacay with the family.
Cool. That's so much fun that you're taking more time.
I'm taking more time off. You decided to take 2 weeks to go frolic in Merced.
The only days I take off all year long, Sammy. I take 1 week during the summer and that's it. This year was a little more than that.
Yeah, you were throwing parties for your dog. I mean, that was like everyone around here was like, "What's going on?"
Well worth it. That was a much needed week and a half. I actually think one of the days early next week, there's going to be a special little fill-in for Sammy Long, and it's not exactly a little human being who's going to be jumping in.
Ooh, I think I know who that is.
All right, tomorrow is the unofficial official start of the 2025-2026 NFL season. We have made it, folks. Sammy, have you decided what you're going to be betting on in tomorroug's game? Is it money line? Is it spread?
No, we're not betting money lines, but because Prize Picks is going to offer something. I don't know. Is that degenerate to be doing over-unders on prop bets?
It is completely in a preseason game that we have no idea who's even going to be playing in it. It is absolutely
but you bet
behavior.
some fourth stringers like trying to make the team.
All right, and I was really thinking that today we would get something out of the MLB trade deadline with the Padres. We are on hug watch on the dugout for the Padres. I haven't seen anything yet, but Dylan Cease was asked before today's game if he pays attention to any of the noise, because obviously he is the number one Padre being talked about right now to be on the move. He said that he tries not to think about it when it's happening, but he's obviously been through this a couple of times now through his career. We'll see if Dylan Cease is the one who gets on the move here over the next 24 hours, but something's going to happen. And tomorrow we got a loaded up show for you to react to whatever is happening live with the trade deadline. Coach Quintera is going to be on at 1:30 tomorrow. We'll be talking Padres with him and trade deadline as well.
People are reacting to me smoking Daryl Morey earlier. 619. To your Daryl Morey point, as a lifelong 76ers fan, I couldn't agree more. If anything, if you were from Philly, you would be more critical. This guy's a horrible GM and should have been fired years ago with the right personnel moves. We could have made a championship run, but the questionable moves for Ben Simmons, Harden, and George paint a picture of his failed moves. Completely agree.
Big three doesn't really work anymore in the NBA, especially if Ben Simmons is part of it and Paul George more recently. The James Harden thing is funny because everyone's thought he's been washed 3 or 4 times now, and he keeps coming back and does pretty well. 484 saying Sammy Skewers cooking Morey like a glizzy. Daryl Morey doesn't help himself out, man. I can't believe a general manager would say, what was the quote? Do you have it in front of you?
I don't have it right in front, but he said there's an asterisk in. He said if the Rockets, he was the GM of the Rockets. If the Rockets had won the World Series, the NBA championship, he would have celebrated. But he goes, every GM knows around the league that there's an asterisk behind it. After Damian Lillard came out a year ago on a podcast and actually who the Lakers beat Portland, that Portland team was pretty nice with him and McCollum, said, I think it was actually the most pure form of a championship, considering, I mean, you're locked in a bubble. There's no home court advantage. You're literally just playing. It was extremely odd.
It was an AAU tournament for NBA players.
Yeah. And I mean, Mark Cuban made the thing. I remember when he owned the Mavericks, said that he thought some players literally wanted to go home because if you lost, you got to go home and leave the premises.
All right. Well, Padres are in progress. John and Jim will keep you up on the score a little bit later on today. They get started at 2:00. Manny Machado did come through with a bases clearing double in the second inning, and the Padres have a 2-0 lead as they look for a sweep. A sweep would do a lot for them. You got to feel like as they head into the trade deadline. AJ Preller is a part of every single article I've seen today so far.
So is Dylan Cease a Padre by the time our show starts tomorrow?
I think so. I think if it happens, it's going to be a late move because I think there's going to be a lot of moving pieces, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think?
I mean, I guess like Tyler was pointing out on social media, like it's going to have to be a 3-team deal, but you got to think that the deal is going to have to come in earlier in the day because you're going to have to work this out. And maybe there's a lot of pieces. Maybe it all comes out at the same time, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious. I think this team definitely needs to make some moves because I don't think them standing pat, even though they're having some success right now, is the right thing to do. So, but 5-game win streak, maybe you're convincing ownership to do something. So certainly will be an exciting day tomorrow.
Jonas Knox, 12:30 tomorrow. Talk some NFL, talk some trade deadline with Joe Man. And then at 1:30, Coach Quintera. Hopefully we are reacting to a move the Padres have already made, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Good luck, Padres fans. Stay off those fake Jeff Passan Twitter accounts all day today because they are out there and they are throwing some wild stuff at the wall. We'll see you tomorrow. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long out. John and Jim in. Coming up next, it's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.